All right, these are some of the notes on the guided worksheet that you have. It's on page 51 through 54. So they've given you a chart and a table that you can look at a little bit more carefully, but then they're asking you some questions. So the first question is, the U.S. civilian non-institutional population was 249 million people. How big was the labor force in December 2014? So December 2014, the amount that were employed were 59.2%. The labor force was 62.7%. So the labor force would be 16 people that are 16 years and over for a workforce. So they want to know what was the labor force. So we're looking at the chart. The labor force is 62.7% of the 249 million, which is 156,123,000 workers and unemployed are part of the labor force. Okay. The second one, what percentage of the U.S. civilians are non-institutional population were employed in 2013? So the employed are this first line, but they're asking you for 2013, and this information is 2014. So we first have to figure out what was the amount in 2013. So if 2014 was 59.2, and there had been a positive 0.6 points in the 1 year, then that means that in 2013, there would have been 58.6% of people employed. So the question here says, what percentage of the U.S. civilian non-institutional population were employed? Would have been 58.6%. So then I could use that if I needed to. All right, so the next one says, under hidden unemployment, so notice right here it says hidden unemployment, how many people in December 2014 were working part-time but were looking for full-time work? So working part-time but wanted full-time is 6.8, and the changes that you see here. So it's 6.8 million, and you know that because right here it says in millions. So on the other chart, those numbers that you were seeing were percentages, but in this one, the values that you're seeing are in millions. All right, so this next one, this might be a formula that you want to keep in your mind. So you're going to use this formula to determine how many people currently want a job in December 2014, November 2014, and December 2013. So there's quite a bit of information here, but the biggest formula that I think is going to help us the most is this last one. So the new would be the new employment amount or the new value, the original value, and X is the rate or the percentage. So in December 2014, they give us that 3 million people wanted jobs. Okay, so we can get that from the chart. People who currently want a job are 3 million people, okay, because that's in millions. So if 3 million people wanted a job and there was a 6% one in that increase, there was a 6.9% increase. So this is December, this was November. That means that we're going to use this formula. So the new value is 3 million. We're looking for the original value, the 6.9% over 100. So when I do 6.9 divided by 100, I get 0.069. Add the 1, divide by 1.069, and I get that 2.81 million people wanted a job in November 2014. So let's look at this again. 3 million people in December. That was a 6.9% increase from the month before. So this would be November. And November 2014. And then this is a 1 year change, so this would be December 2013. Okay, so that's where we came up. So the percentage of change was 6.9, and we're looking for November. So now we're going to do the same thing for December 2013. Okay, so in December 2013, December 2014 was 3. There was a 10.3% change, and we're looking for December 2013. So the 10.3 came from right here. So the new equals the original times 1 minus 10.3 over 100. And if I do my calculations, I find out that 3.34 million people wanted a job in December 2013. Okay, here's another one. What is the average mean duration of unemployment in the weeks December 2014? And what was this in November 2014 and December 2013? So we have the same kind of information. This is talking about in weeks. So 32.8 is the average in December. A 1 month change is 0.6, negative 0.6. And then a 1 year change is negative 10.9. So the new is 32.8. The change for November would be the 1 month change, is 0.6 over 100. So 0.6 over 100 is 0.994. So it's 32.99 in X weeks, or X, which is the weeks in November. So it's 32.99 weeks in November of 2014. Okay, and here's December 2013, which is the 1 year, so it's new, original, X over 100. The new is 32.8. X times 1 minus 10.9 over 100. So it's 36.8 weeks in December of 2013. So this is saying, what was the average mean duration of unemployment in weeks for December 2014 and November 2014 and December 2013? So this is how many weeks people were unemployed on average. And it was coming up with 32.9 weeks on average people were unemployed in November, and 32.8 weeks on average, 36.8 weeks in average on December 2013. So it says, why is the average duration of unemployment greater in the median? So remember, the median is actually when you take all of the information and you put it in order and you take the middle value. So the median, there could be some really high values at either end. So you could have somebody who's been unemployed for a really long time, and that could skew your data. So the mean is going to be pulled up by outliers. That means people that have been unemployed for a really long period of time. Whereas the median is basically just taking the list and looking at the number in the middle. All right, so this last one, in the demographic section, which is true, so 4.8% of whites are unemployed, or 4.8% of unemployed people are white. So this is talking about people that were unemployed. So it's not saying that 4.8% of all whites are unemployed. It's saying 4.8% of people that are unemployed are white. So there's a big difference, and you have to watch out for that. And the reason that you know that this is true is because if this was of all unemployed, then these values together should add up to be 100%, and that's not what's happening here. All right, so then they ask you some more demographics about that chart. So which demographic group, excluding the Asians, experienced the greatest 1 year percentage decrease in unemployment? So one of the values in this chart, you have to know the original. So for whites, it was 4.8, but there was a decrease of 1.2, which means the original was 6.0. For blacks, it was 10.4. The original, it was a decrease of 1.4, so the original was 11.8. Hispanics was 8.4, and teenagers was 20.4. So for whites, it's going to be negative 1.2. That was the amount of change divided by the original. So it was a 20% decrease. For blacks, it was negative 1.4 divided by 11.8, which is an 11.9% decrease. Hispanics was a 22.6% decrease, and teenagers was a 17.6% decrease. So the Hispanics experienced the greatest percentage of decrease in unemployment with the 22.6%. Okay, in this chart, this is unemployment by education level. You can add the percentages for high school and less than high school and say that 13.9% of unemployed have at most a high school education. So they get the 13.9 by taking the 8.6 and the 5.3, because that would be at most. So at most means it can't be more than that. So if I go to the grocery store and I say I'm going to spend at most $50, I'm not going to spend more than $50. So it eliminates the college and the bachelor's. So, but this isn't true because, again, it's the same argument that we had in the other chart. This percentage is the percentage of unemployed people that have less than a high school education. It is not the total percentage of all the population. So, so this would not be an accurate statement. All right, our last one here is asking you for the growth factor for a one-year change. So growth factor you obtain by taking 1 plus the rate. That's your growth factor. So our rate for a one-year change is 2.5%. So you're going to do 1 plus 2.5, which is basically the same thing as saying 100 plus 2.5, which is 102.5%, which is 1.025, because we're going to divide that by 100. So this is the growth factor. All right, I hope this helps.